Hello, this is Nathan Geary here to explain my roll. I think it's called Dice Roller or Roll Dice application. And let me just start off by explaining what I used to create it, which was Flutter. Flutter is a kind of application development tool. It streamlines the process, and you can use it using any kind of programming, any kind of programming application, a programming app, and I chose VS Code because VS Code is free. You could use IntelliJ and I believe other things like Xcode, but I'm using IntelliJ. And let me start off by explaining my main. So main, you still have to import the packages for Flutter to use them. Let me just explain that. And you can ignore this for now, but just know that this is, I'll go back to it later. So for right now, main is pretty much it's where everything's run. It's the main. Every application has a main. So I'll just get to the next one, which is run app. Run app is pretty much the app itself, what I'm running. It is called run app. And material app is a widget, and it's pretty much the root for all the other widgets. There's two types of widgets, but we'll get to those later. There's a stateful widget and a stateless widget, but like I said, I'll get to that later. And within Scaffold, you can see it as the body, because every app has to have like its own UI design. I have mine, and it's separate, and it's in Gradient Container. In Gradient Container, you can take the variables or two colors to give it the colors. I'm not sure if I take these or if I declare them inside Gradient Container. As you can see, there's also two colors in here. I don't know if I declared it from main or if I get rid of it here, but I don't think that matters that much. So Gradient Container is a stateless widget because it's the background, so it doesn't need to change. And I made it so it's reusable, because every good code needs to be reusable. So it's ease of access. Here you can declare the alignment, top left and top right. The colors are right here. The colors are final because you don't want it to be changed. But if you do, you can just change them right here. And it's a stateless widget. So let's go to the main widget build right here. So here we have the rest of like the design would be inside main, but we elevated it over here to a separate file. And this is pretty much just the basic UI. The box decoration, it's pretty much just the background, and we made it a gradient. I think it's like purplish. But as you can see within a child node, here we have something called Dice Roller. And Dice Roller is in the middle of the gradient, and you'll see what that does, but it's a separate file. Actually, it's right here. That's what I thought. Dice Roller is pretty much what our app is basically about. It's a dice rolling application. Quite simple. But let me just explain how everything works. But as you can see, Dice Roller, the class, it's actually a stateful widget and not a stateless widget. The reason for that is because stateless widgets don't need to change. They're constant. They don't need to change because, for mine, it's a background. You don't want the background to change. Sometimes you do, but in our case, we don't. What we do want to change is the dice itself. So we made a separate file or a separate class called stateful widget. And here you have the randomizer, which is used to pretty much get the dice themselves. And we first initialize the variable of the dice, the current dice roll, and then we make it 2. And set state is pretty much what we declare or how we get the dice number. So 6 plus 1, it says 6, but it actually gets the first 5. 6 is just the final thing, so it doesn't include it. So you have to put a +1. This is just something you learn in all programming languages. But yeah, here we have the widget that contains the dice roller. And it's actually very interesting. So we have assets. I misspelled asset. and put an extra S, but ignore that. And we access image.asset is pretty much a constructor itself, and it accesses and it this one accesses like the other access your images, which I believe mine are right here. Yeah, these are my dice images. Like I said, I misspelled it, but yeah. So it takes the dice and then calculates the number from current dice roll, and current dice roll is just the randomizer plus that. And this happens when you press the button. Yeah, as you can see right here, text button. On pressed, roll dice, which is pretty much right here, which returns the current dice roll. Gives you different dice. So here we can have the size of the button, how big it is, the style, the format, and ours is white, and this textile is, I believe, do we use textile? Yeah, style. Let me go to that real quick. So this is just like, there's more, I guess, another widget to kind of like simplify it, or I guess streamline it. And this is just pretty much, just the text that we want to use, so we're able to change it. We have it be colored white and just 28, and that's it. It's not that much, but it doesn't have to be. And of course, it extends the stateless widget. Stateless, we don't want it to change. Well, we're used, and let's go back to this. And what the text contains is roll dice. Here we can change it to something else. It'll use a textile. But yeah, so this is the button itself, pretty much, unlike the gradient, which was the background. Now let me show you how this is used. So I have it open. I couldn't get the simulation of the iOS, but I did get it opened on here, which is pretty much the same thing. I tried to, but it just for some reason my iOS simulator would just not work. But anyways, let me press the button, and it rolls the dice. Now you can press as much as you want. So yeah, that's how that works. So pretty much a combination of main, GreatList container is a widget that contains the background. Roll dice is the one that does the rolling of the dice. And then the textile is just pretty much a textile of this in case it wants to be changed. And that's all that needs to be said about, I guess, Dice Roller. Could get more in depth, but I only got 7 minutes. So